So are you working full-time and wanting to get started investing in real estate and you're just not sure if it's feasible? If that's you, stay tuned because I'm going to talk about that in this video. All right, so the big question I get oftentimes for people in the very beginning of their real estate investment journey, or even like right before they kick things off, I should say, is like, how can I have a full-time job and invest in real estate? Is it even possible? The good news is the answer is yes, it is possible to do that. That is something that I did. You know, I was investing in real estate. I had another business, and I would say, like, honestly, well, let me back up. When I first got into real estate, I was a teacher and a coach. So I was a high school social studies teacher. I was a head wrestling coach and an assistant football coach. I had a full plate, y'all. I mean, whenever you're a coach, people don't realize you're at school all the time. Like, you go in the morning, you teach the kids, you get out, you have practice. For football, we're reviewing film on the weekends. Like, you're there all the time. And then you have wrestling matches and games, or if you're a different coach for a different sport, you know, you got games and stuff. You're there all the time. And so for me, I started out, I was actually got my real estate license and was selling some real estate on the side because I really wanted to invest, but I didn't realize at the time, like, how to invest. And so I got my license, and then I got my insurance license as well. And I started selling insurance on the side, and that ended up really blowing up, and I ended up doing well with that and built an agency and that I still own to this day. And what was cool about that is I built my agency, and I had dabbled in real estate a little bit and had some investments, but when I really decided to jump in, you know, to investing in real estate, I was still pretty busy with my insurance agency. Now, one thing I will say, one caveat to that is, you know, being the owner, I could kind of leave and do what I needed to do. So a little bit different than if you have a traditional 9 to 5, but it is something that I experienced when I was a teacher and a coach, and I was really building my insurance agency. It's still the same thing. The concept is this: like, you have to be able to work in your business and on your business. Like, at the end of the day, like, that's what it boils down to. So, you know, what do I even mean by that? Like, working on your business is the things that you need to do to build your structure of your business, set up your LLCs, go in, like, you're working on systems and processes, figuring out your long-range plan, what you're going to do, like having your goals, all of those things. Like, that's kind of working on the business. So when you're working kind of in the business, you know, like your marketing, setting up your marketing, for example, but working in the business, I would say, is kind of like when you're doing the thing, right? So the main thing that you need to be doing, like, right out the gate, like, don't wait to do this. The thing that you need to do right out the gate is you need to be marketing. You need to be prospecting. You need to be finding deals. One of the things that I see from my students and members of my community, and just people that I help with getting started and getting into real estate, is like, they feel like they have to know everything before they get started. And I can tell you, that's not the way to do it. You want to get educated. You don't want to do anything like go out and, you know, spend a bunch of money on a property and not have any idea what you're doing, or, you know, borrow a bunch of money from a friend or something like that. No, I'm not saying do that. Don't do that. But you need to get educated, but while you're getting educated, you need to be prospecting and trying to find deals. The number one thing that separates a successful investor, real estate investor, from a non-successful real estate investor, it's not money, having money to buy deals. It's not knowing how to do, you know, this particular thing or that particular thing. The number one thing is finding deals. Like, investing in real estate, if you're a real estate investor, typically that's going to mean you're a marketer. Okay. Now, there are exceptions to that. Maybe you find a really good wholesaler and you work with that wholesaler and you build a great relationship, and that wholesaler finds the deals, and then you buy them and renovate and flip them, or you buy them and put them in your portfolio like that. There is the exception. So don't get me wrong. And again, don't hate. Like, that is something that is a thing where you can work with a wholesaler or somebody else that's finding the deals. But typically, you are going to want to be able to go out and source your own deals. So I talk about how to do that in some other videos, but just to hit some highlights real fast, like, when you're working, you typically have to, you know, not always, but drive to work. So if you're driving to work, to and from work, and you're driving around in general just normally anyway, one of the things you can do is you can drive for dollars. It's a popular term out there. You've probably heard it, or if you haven't, basically all that it means is you go and you drive, particularly like neighborhoods, and you're driving in these neighborhoods and you're looking for houses with signs of distress. You're looking for vacant houses. Like if you see a bunch of newspapers in the driveway and it just looks vacant, that's a sign. If you see houses with a lot of damage and problems, that's a sign. Like if the grass is overgrown and there's junk everywhere, like that's a sign. You would write that address down, okay? And then you would research and find who the owner is and then try to contact that owner. I've got a video that I shot about driving for dollars. I'll put it in the description below, the link. But like that is something that you can do today. And I would encourage you, if you're watching this video and you have been thinking about investing in real estate and you haven't taken any action, do that this week. Do it today. Like start. And so, and then what happens? You're like, oh my goodness, what happens if I get it? Like someone actually wants to sell me their house? Awesome. Then from there, like now it's like, okay, what do I do next? All right, there's tons of content I have on this channel for absolutely free. I have a private community that you can join. It's a very inexpensive, and you can get mentorship. You can have your deals in there and talk about like, hey, I've got this deal. I need some help underwriting it. I need to figure out how to fund it. I need to figure out how much it's going to cost to renovate. I need to figure out how much it's going to be worth after we renovate. All of those things. You can join this private community. I will put that link in the description below, and we help you with all of that. So there's going to be ways that you can get help if you find a deal and you just bam, right out the gate you got a deal. But as you're learning and you're getting smarter and more educated in this, you should definitely be prospecting. So that is a way you can do that. Leave a little early to go to work instead of coming straight home. Drive for dollars, that sort of thing. You can do that. So that is one thing you can do. You can look online. So I know I have kids. My kids are I have one in high school and I have one going into middle school. And so like, it's not easy. Like, I have a life, I have a family, and so it's very chaotic at times. And so if you have children, sometimes, especially young children, it may be something that you have to do in the evenings where you go online and you try to look and find deals online. There are a ton of ways that you can do that. You can use obviously the websites like Zillow. I talk about in some other videos how you can use Zillow and the like to try to find deals. You can network with real estate agents and try to build relationships with real estate agents, and maybe they can send you deals that are like pocket listings or they're about to list on the market and give you a shot at it first. There are wholesalers, as I mentioned before, that you can network with. Even if you use a wholesaler, you still need to build those relationships with the wholesaler. So it's something that you can start doing today, building relationships with wholesalers. Now, there are a lot of good wholesalers out there. There's a lot of bad ones. And then there's certain areas like in South Carolina where wholesaling is not even allowed anymore. So you need to know, like, be smart, get educated, figure out if you can even wholesale in your state or not. Reach out to people and start building relationships. But you absolutely can do this working full time. You don't need to let that prevent you or dissuade you. And if you love your job, it's actually great because you can end up getting a lot of loans that you potentially could not get if you didn't have a job. And so, one of the challenges that's crazy is there are certain types of loans out there that you can literally have millions of dollars, and you could have these, all this real estate stuff going on, be super successful, and based on their criteria and what they want to fit in their box, they won't give you a loan because it's like, oh, well, you don't have a job history, and then of course if you're using real estate in a good way, legal way, ethical way to help you save on taxes, and you're basically using different techniques there, you can actually look like on paper that you really don't have a lot of money coming in in the form of depreciation and stuff like that, and then you can't get a loan because it looks like you don't have the income. So like having a full-time job actually in the beginning can be a big help because you have steady, reliable income that you can show that can help you get loans to potentially buy these properties. And so I talk about in another video different types of loans and that sort of thing. And if you're watching this, don't freak out. You don't have a high-paying job. You can still get loans. You can still buy deals. The main thing is you've got to go out there and you've got to take action and you've got to find the deal. So if you're working full time, here's what I would recommend you do. Number one is I would recommend you get educated. Subscribe to this channel, click the notifications. I put content out every week, and watch these videos. Ask questions. I would recommend you get plugged in somewhere with a community. I've got my community. It's a private community online. Links in the description. Get plugged into your local RIA meetup where you can have local people that you can talk to and find out what's going on. Read some books. There's lots of great books out there that you can read. Get educated, but while you're doing that, start prospecting. Figure out one way that you're going to start your prospecting, and you don't need to try to do everything all at one time. So like you could say, hey, I'm gonna drive for dollars, and then here's how you do this. This is important. You can't just say I'm going to drive for dollars. You need to set KPIs, key performance indicators. You need to set your KPIs and say, okay, each week I am going to find X amount of properties. I'm going to find 50 properties or 25 properties or whatever your number that you set, and make it something that's attainable, but you got to stretch to get it. And then make sure you do that and assess yourself at the end of the week. Did I find 25 properties? So that's a KPI. Second KPI, did I reach out to X amount of particular properties that are vacant or dilapidated or whatever? Did I reach out to them either by phone, by mail, whatever? Did I do that? And that is something that you have total control over. You don't have control over whether someone will accept your offer or not, okay? You don't have the control over that. But you do have control over how many properties you are going to drive by, as long as it takes to find X number of properties and make X number of offers, reaching out, making offers. So you can do that. If you don't know how much to offer, just send them a letter and just say, I'm interested in your property. I'd like to talk to you about potentially buying it all cash. That's all you got to say. And then the ones that call you, ask a lot of questions. I have videos on this channel. Ask a bunch of questions. Ask about the property. Find out their level of motivation, okay? And you can do that. Basically, there's 4 pillars of motivation that you really need to get familiar with. You need to know their time frame. You need to know how much they want. You need to know the condition of the property. And then you need to know why they're selling their property. What's the reason? Are you moving out of state? Okay. Do you have this vacant property and you've already moved out of state and it's just sitting there and you just got to get rid of it? Those are things that, like, if they give you multiple answers to those 4 pillars, all of a sudden now it's like, oh, this person has like said 3 out of the 4. They're probably pretty motivated, okay? So that's a good indicator. You can do those things. Then if you're still getting educated, you're part of a community, then, well, you need to have a contract. You need to know, have a contract that you can write the offer up, have some help. And that's where the mentorship and all that comes into play. And again, you don't have to do that, but it definitely helps speed up your process of learning and get you kind of moving faster. You can research all of that on your own. You can look at YouTube. You can do all these different things online and figure out a lot of that. But at the end of the day, though, having mentorship, being a part of a community, is kind of like the easy button to get you there a lot faster. But those are things that you can do while you're working full time, and you can then begin to start to get these opportunities to talk to people about buying their property. Another thing that you can do, if you don't want to drive for dollars, that's cool. Another thing you can do is you can start reaching out to real estate agents, and you can start reaching out to contractors. Real estate agents and contractors. Why real estate agents? Well, that's pretty obvious. They're kind of have their finger on the pulse of what's going on and different properties that are available and people wanting to sell. There's a lot of times where a property may just be totally beat and it doesn't make sense to list it on the market because they need to fix it up. And so there's these things called pocket listings, or situations to where, if you build relationships with agents and they run across something then that fits because it needs work, then you can be someone that they call. Now again, this doesn't happen overnight, all right, but it is a great way that you can try to build these relationships, and you need to think about value that you could bring to the agent as well. So it's not all take. How can you add value to that agent as well? Maybe if you're going to renovate properties, maybe and flip them, maybe like, hey, I'd like to work with local agent, build relationship, and anything that we can work together on. Of course, I would give you a commission on it to buy it, and then also to for you to list it. So there's different ways you can do that. The contractors, one of the great reasons that you can talk to contractors, and one of the benefits there is obviously you can provide them work whenever you have the flips, but they also kind of know what's going on. So if you're talking to contractors, they're driving all the time, they're fixing properties. They may have someone that owns rentals, a landlord that they know, and that landlord, I talk to one of my main contractors all the time, and so he actually would, he would know if I'm like, yeah, I got this rental, I want to just get rid of this thing, the tenants are moving out, and all of a sudden you're building these relationships talking to contractors, and you're like, hey, I'd love to use you on any work I do. By the way, are you aware of any properties that anyone might want to sell that need some work? And that's a good way to do it. So you can do that. And then finally, the last little tidbit I'll give you for today, and then we'll wrap up, is basically you can reach out to properties that are for rent. You can reach out to the landlord that owns that property. So this is kind of like a hack, but basically you can go online and look at TurboTenant, apartments.com, HotPads, Zillow, all these different places, and look for properties that are for rent. And oftentimes that property that's for rent, the landlord might not be wanting to sell that property. Okay, he's like, nah, I love this property, I'm not selling it, but I have this beater over here that I'd sell you. It's got all kinds of junk going on with it, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'll sell you this one. And now all of a sudden you've got a relationship with another landlord, and he's got a property that he wants to sell today, or maybe not today, but maybe in the future. And you just say, hey, I'm just getting started. I really am trying to get, cut my teeth and learn. Like, if you have anything that you might want to sell, let me know. And being open and honest and transparent and vulnerable like that. Like, if I had a new person call me and they were like, I'm just getting started, I really, if you have anything, I would want to try to help that person. I just genuinely want to help everybody. I want to help you. But it's like, I would try to help that person, and if I didn't have anything to sell them, I would try to point them in the right direction. Hey, have you talked to this guy? He might have some properties he wants to sell. Or hey, have you checked this or that? Or just some of the information I'm giving you today, I would be giving that person that information to try to help them. So that is a great way you can get plugged in and connected. Be sure, if you haven't, subscribe to my channel. I'm posting content on a weekly basis. If you haven't done that, subscribe, comment below if you found value in this video, if you have questions and you'd like me to shoot content on some other videos. And again, lastly, check out our community if you haven't already. That link is in the description below. As always, I really appreciate you being here and spending time with me today. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next one.